Please join us for pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of the day is to approve the minutes from May 9th.
I'll move.
Tom's move,
All second.
Tim second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Move to our miscellaneous motions.
Do we need Mark for that? Yeah.
I guess we can do the, county motion first.
Okay.
Got anything new to add to the pavement striping?
No, we just need some signatures for the bonding on these contracts,
Okay.
the straight line.
Yeah, just make the file.
No, that's the one that came through
That's
this
what we
morning.
just got.
I'll just leave them here if you don't need them.
That's just the construction zone for the week there. Didn't have any call-outs, this weekend. I know the water's still over 16th Road out here by New Strong, so they're letting water out, so hopefully a couple days they'll be back down there.
Do miscellaneous motion, it'd be 2022, based upon the 2022-20, based upon the recommendation of county engineer, and move to as a form by the county attorney to authorize direct chairman to sign contract documents with straight line striping for pavement striping at several locations throughout the county. Project number S as in Sam 2201-C as in Pat.
How much was that, Foot?
I don't recall off the top of my head, I don't think it says
Okay.
on there. Contracts are there.
It was up a little bit a year ago, but I forget the exact dollars.
Grand total of
It was
$95,000.
under 100, but it's,
I don't know how many miles.
Roughly 61.
61 miles.
I so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Don's moved,
All second.
Tim second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Alright, thank you.
Do you want these signed right now?
You can sign, just put it in our box and we'll get them
Okay.
later, fine. A copy of the construction zone, so I'll just highlight, we're just, preparing for some dust controls coming up here in a couple weeks. Prepping for them, and then be getting started mowing for, get things mowed up for Memorial Weekend. And start seeing a little more of that. If you have any other questions on that.
Some of these cemeteries, I was kinda around a few of them, it didn't look like there was any weed eating around the stones.
Like, as far as for ones that we contract out for our mowing,
Yeah, I would have to look at I can look on the way going home,
okay,
there on Iris.
okay. I can check on it and see.
I just didn't know, I'm assuming it included weed eating.
No, absolutely it should.
Weed eating, so, and we've got new people doing it this year, so.
No, we'll check on that for sure.
Looks good.
Alright, and then just FYI, I think should be having a couple summer help start Monday. Provided all the paperwork gets finished up this week, so,
Summer's here.
it is, it is.
Summer's here.
What kind of gun do you use to shoot these signs?
It shoots the reflective and reads the reflective on the signs, and something has to be done every so often and update our numbers, and when they get to a certain point, then they're eligible for replacement or supposed to be replaced. But, so yeah, it's pretty tedious and time consuming. A lot of signs in the county to shoot.
I was thinking 12 gauge, but.
No, there are some of those out there, but that'd be a little more fun probably.
It'd be a lot more expensive if
It
you
would
get
be.
caught.
It would be.
All right, thank you, Ron.
All right, thank you.
All right, on to the tax abatement. Move to authorize director chairman to sign one tax abatement in the amount of $683.38. This is one that was tabled back in February, is that correct?
Yes.
And it's come back around.
Which property are we talking about?
315 North Main Street, Burlington, Kansas. Circle D,
340.
or New Strong.
345.
Is this the lumber yard up there?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was 3 tax years involved. But yes, all 3 of them went through the appeals process.
The question I've got on this, you know, we've lowered the valuation 16%, and yet we're taking a third of the tax dollars off. Something's out of balance.
Okay, well, I can check that out, but the original value for 2019 was $268,940. Do you have that information?
We've got everything.
Yeah,
That's the reason,
Okay.
You're looking at something.
that's the reason I'm saying, valuation's only down 16%, yet tax dollars lowered by a third. So the statement originally was not correct, or this is not correct. So we still need some more detail, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll have to work on that.
The tax year 2021, Mark.
Is that the main tax year it issued, the 2021 taxes?
On this one it is.
Okay.
So I'm guessing there's still more numbers that need to
There's
be
still more numbers to be crunched, so,
Okay,
presented.
I will,
in my opinion.
double check those and see.
Either the original one or this one, or both of them are maybe out of balance
Okay,
someplace.
that's very possible.
Okay.
We'll just table this again for later on.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't take you too long to figure it out, but
We'll just hold this until later on when you get some numbers. worked
Okay.
out.
I'll just give you a call or
Yeah.
something on or something.
Thank you. All right. Let that work out away. Item 5. Honorable Judge Wine. You're up, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners. I wanted to talk to you today about creating a couple internship positions down in district court. I'm not asking you for more money. I've got the money, I think, in our budget that we can take it out of that. The reason I'm asking for these is I think we have a short-term and long-term attorney problem in rural America, and Coffee County is not an exception. When I started here in 2011, I guess I started judging down here, we had 4 or 5 attorneys on our misdemeanor panel, for example. 3 of them were from Coffee County. We have 4 on there now, and only 1's from Coffee County. We've had a couple retirements, some folks that aren't doing stuff around here anymore, one that passed away. And rural America is struggling right now with lawyers. I'm getting lawyers out of my district, getting recruited that have a lot of criminal trial experience down to southeast Kansas, Douglas County, Lyon County. I mean, everybody's competing with each other for the same people. Right now, our Coffee County misdemeanor panel is 1 attorney from Coffee County, 1 from Osage, and 2 from Franklin County. And like I said, we're all competing with each other. So the short-term problem, I guess, is more of a financial thing that we may have to address later. The long-term problem, trying to get folks that want to come back and live here, that have some times here, is what I'm asking for the internships for. I've got a couple kids that, I call them kids, they're adults, a couple young folk, they're younger than me, how about that? A couple young folk that have in college, they're exploring interest in law school. They both, one of them followed me around for a day through a program I have where when you guys do Government Day and have everybody come down, I always offer to the kids they can come follow me around. One of them followed me around and wants to go into law and come get a little more info on it. Another one, I think, followed Mr. Bowie around and helped him that previous year. So the thought is to pilot it this summer, if you guys are open to the idea. I'm not looking for anything all summer. 100-hour internship is what I'd like to do. They'd assist me with documents, preparing for court, get to see how it works down here. With the thought being we try it this summer with a couple, because I know I have 2 kids that are interested. I always offer them in the alternative. Some of the kids, and the ones in law school, they want to do college credit or law school credit, so they wouldn't get paid for that if they wanted to get credit for the school, so I'd offer them either or. But the thought is to get these people down here, observe people with ties to Coffee County. They both graduated from Coffee County high schools, and hopefully long-term, get some folks that want to come back here and practice law. So what I would need from you guys is to make them county employees for that 100 hours as an internship, and we take it out of district court budget, but fund it, they'd be a county employee. And I'm thinking, I think Wade mentioned there's a summer help rate or something, isn't there, Mr. Rudy? I don't know what it is. Yeah. So that's what I'm asking for your permission to do today, is if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Would this be like summer temps, no benefits or anything like that?
Correct.
It's an intern, so
Yeah.
I think it'd be similar to what
Same principle.
Road and Bridge is doing with their summer help. I don't remember what that rate is.
What Todd does with his summer help.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
Keeping it under 1,000 hours, you don't have to worry about the benefit package. So
right.
Correct.
Or didn't used to, and I'm sure that's
Yes.
still in place.
Yes, Commissioner, I just want 100 hours for each of them, just so they can come and try it, get a taste, understand what it's like, and hopefully get them encouraged to come back here.
So we had I had talked about this here several months ago, the same issue that Judge Wine is talking about right now. And I think my position would be, or the encouragement to the commission is, not only is this an issue with the attorney side of things, I think it's countywide. And I know Bobby and I have talked about it, having some sort of program in Coffee County to recruit young people who are in college to potentially come back. Because I've got an intern with me right now, Cale Johnson, who's going to be with me for the summer, potentially another one, and I'll introduce him later. But if he didn't come back to Coffee County to take advantage of an internship this summer, he could go somewhere else. If he goes somewhere else, then he potentially will plant roots in that community, wherever that is, and then he's not coming back to Coffee County. You have to do something to incentivize people to come back to Coffee County, and putting together this pilot program, some sort of program with Bobby, not only to deal with the law side, but the entire county. Bobby could have an intern at the appraiser's office, at law enforcement, wherever, and you're gonna have to consider creating some sort of line item designation for internship, so you can track it, create a pilot program. And I'd like to work with the judge and Bobby and Angie and the commission to create something for Coffee County, so that you can bring people in and they have this type of opportunity to grow Coffee County.
I think it's a perfect opportunity for young people to see what it's really like, and see if they want to jump in head first, and hopefully they'll remember the ones that gave them the opportunity, and come back here to continue their employment or whatever, opportunities, in the county. So I don't know what we gotta do I know there's always the forms that we are presented with that states the name and the hour, and I think Wade can probably get with that.
I can work
The
with
judge.
the judge on that, or Angie, or both of us, and you have to figure out where you want that to come. Well, I guess it'll come out of your budget.
Yeah, we have the money to take it out of our budget, and we can move it to county and then pay them.
Then they'll just have to get the email on his end to know when to turn in timesheets, because that'll be something new for judicial side.
I'm just thinking, would we actually pay it out of your budget there, or would we pay for it out of, like, courthouse general, because we have a personal services line that we pay from and take taxes out of, whereas we don't do your payroll? I guess you could reimburse that.
Yeah, we have we have part-time help that is not an internship in Franklin County, and the way we do it over there, we budget it, and that comes out of our budget to county, and they pay her as a county employee. So I'm happy to work with you guys. I want to be clear, I'm not asking for more money. We can take it out of our budget. I just need your help facilitating the internship, if you guys are okay with it.
I would say between Angie and Wade and yourself.
Okay.
I like that idea.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, we'll pilot it this year, and see how it goes, and maybe if we can see what works and doesn't work, and formalize something for the future, if it's all right with you guys. Okay, I appreciate all your help. You guys have any other questions?
I think it's a good step for even succession planning, if you will, as far as, once some people start retiring and this, that, and the other, you got keep the
people
ball
that move
rolling, so
in.
to speak.
Ideally, we would have younger lawyers who come to the area when there's still a more experienced lawyer here that you can pass the baton on, get some education. That's the ideal situation. All right, Commissioners, I appreciate it very much.
Judge,
Thank you.
Judge, while you're here, I talked to the commissioners, I don't know, a month or two about planting the seed about an idea to bring attorneys from, I guess they're not attorneys, law students down from other, whether it be Washburn or KU, to be a part of a program where they go out into maybe, James Campbell here in Burlington has an immense amount of experience, and for someone to shadow him and be paid to do so would be a great benefit for them. And he's got more experience in the courtroom than most people in big cities, and he's a phenomenal trial attorney. So for someone to be able to follow him, for example, or to be able to go into the courtroom and do something with Judge Wines, where to get the full experience to go from prosecution to judicial to defense attorney, that's something you think would be a good program?
I mean, we could have a setup like that. I've had law students down, I think over the last decade, 6 to 8 law students that have come down and done a judicial externship for me and followed me around in my 2 counties that I covered already. And they get law school credit for that. But I'm open to, any sort of program to help encourage folks to come down here.
I mean, what you may not know, if you're at Washburn or if you're at KU, a lot of those law students will try to get into Shawnee County DA's office, or the Douglas County DA's office, or Johnson County DA's office, because you get in the courtroom, you actually operate under somebody's law license, and then you can get that real life experience. You need to have something like that here, so you get some of these people back into rural America. So I don't want to speak for Cale, but Cale is wanting to go to law school and come back and potentially one day be the Coffee County attorney. Is, I think, his goal and plan. So I wanted to do everything I could to get him here so that he could get the full experience. So he knows what it's about. This summer, there's all kinds of things going on that he's going to get to see and do. And if we didn't bring him back, then he would potentially go somewhere else and have that same experience and not want to come back.
It's a good idea.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Noxious Weed Department, Mr. Todd.
Good morning. I have the contract to treat noxious weeds for KDOT here that I wanted to talk to the commission about. See where you're at with what we're gonna charge for the equipment. We were at $100 last year, and then $95 for the probably previous 3 years before that. So I didn't know with the high cost of fuel and all, if maybe we wanted to look at increasing that a little bit.
Is that per hour, or?
Yes. That's per hour for the equipment, and then we also have individual hours per employee, so.
What do you think?
I think they'll take whatever we put in here. They like to have the counties treat the noxious weeds instead of a contractor because we do a lot better job. So, I don't know. I don't want to go. I was thinking something like $110 an hour for equipment, and then the cost of the labor as well. And they also pay full price for chemicals too, so.
You burn 2 gallons an hour?
Well, so we're driving pretty slow, you know, so we can't go by miles per hour.
Right, that's what
We
that's
definitely
what I'm
have
saying.
to.
Don't buy gallons per hour.
Yeah, probably.
Is this pretty well statewide? Do you know what the other counties are currently
There
charging?
there are some
Currently.
counties that have individual contractors, and then there are some counties that use the county employees to do it, so,
You know what their rates currently are?
less than us,
Less than that?
yes.
Well, we all know everything's increasing in cost. you know, whether it's equipment or
Right.
fuel or.
So, you know, I mean, there's gonna be
wages.
some times where we pop a tire because of something in the ditch. So that's gotta come into play somewhere too, so,
How many hours do you do this?
we're gonna put in probably, 60 to 80 hours maybe, tops.
We're
tops,
talking
yeah.
$600, $800 more than last year.
Right. So, I mean, you know, we have, 58, 75, 35, and then a little bit of 31. I'm gonna say we probably have about 65 miles of state right-of-ways.
In the summertime, you're only gonna be doing that 65 to 80 hours?
Probably, yeah.
Two men involved probably
Yes.
each, huh?
Yes. Yeah, we have to have 2 people in a
Yeah.
truck.
I'd have no problem dogging on 110. I'd probably have no trouble dogging on
I'd
120,
say,
125.
I would like to say 120, but
Yeah.
me personally,
I even had 125 on mine, but
I mean, $20, 100.
that's an extra $1,600.
Right.
but
I think 20 is probably gonna be.
Okay. I'll do that, and then I also have a motion, for the contract. Moved upon the recommendation of the noxious weed director to approve the county agreement to treat noxious weeds with the Kansas Department of Transportation and direct the chairman to sign.
I'll make the motion for $120 an hour for equipment.
Does that need to be in there, or you're gonna making a motion to sign it anyway?
So they've already agreed to the 120? I mean,
Well, no, they haven't.
so I mean, how can we sign a contract if not everybody, I mean,
Just basically.
Normally, how this works is we sign the contract, have the chairman to sign the contract, and we send it back to the state,
okay.
and then they sign it and send it back to me. Well, they've already signed, so,
It's basically fill in the amount and
Yeah.
send it back.
Okay. All right. Just so I understand.
Tim's moved,
I'll second.
Don second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. $120 there.
What are we charging per hour for our employees?
first man's $21.41, and the second man is $20.81.
It's covering their cost,
Yes.
or covering our cost, I guess.
Who all needs a copy of this?
I will.
You, Andrea?
Yes, it'll be fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, anything else for me?
No.
All right, thank you.
Are you getting any Roundup in, Todd?
Yes.
Any formulation of Roundup at all?
We did
I
get
know the
some
last time I
in.
talked to you, you had one shipment, and either you or
It's going pretty quick. Yes, we
that was
got,
probably gonna be it for the year.
we thought so. We were lucky enough to get another pallet
Okay.
that's gonna be here, sometime this week, and it's gonna be the same price that this last stuff was. However, we went from, you know, selling it for $30 for a 2.5 gallon jug to $80. But that's not stopping it from going out the door, so.
Have Pat's regard.
Right now, everything's the same price except for the Roundup, so. I do anticipate, that changing somewhat as we have to restock, but we've got some on hand now and more Roundup on the way.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
I see 2 more individuals showed up, that they're idle on.
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Bobby.
Sir, thank you. You sure?
I'm positive.
I would like, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I would like to ask the Commissioners to go into executive session for the purpose of, land acquisition discussion, for 20 minutes to include the county attorney and myself, and the commission.
Motion to go into executive session for 20 minutes, the board and Mr. Skipper and, Wade Bowie.
So moved.
Don's moved,
All second.
Tim second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will go in at said 20 minutes, Bobby?
Yes, sir.
That's the preliminary discussion about
Yes.
land. I think the preliminary part.
We're
We're
getting-
we're not talking about purchasing land.
Yes.
Nah, thought I better come up here, so. Need to walk, down that straight and narrow path. Yeah. Yeah, unless it's a cool day, that's regular.
So what are Tuesdays?
Tuesdays are our first appearance days, so anybody that's been, for example, arrested this weekend, we can't go now, but it's traffic day, people get ready, traffic tickets. Diversions for July. And they used to, I don't know, they more afternoons, they used to be, small claims, divorce actions, limited action cases, stuff like that. Wednesdays.
I know it.
No, I'm not like you right now. Yeah. Yeah, I've said that for a long time. Oh, yeah.
I had one final meeting with my advisor before I left, and he had guys who went to Oxford, Yale, across all stuff. He was telling me that he said, you know, something else that's going to be like, every VPA, and maybe like communicating. Like, stand up. They wouldn't pull down. They would, you know,
Yeah, that would be, unbelievable.
yeah, absolutely, which, you know, that's actually just talking to the UPS at school, but, you know.
Yeah, that would be an unbelievable adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, life-changing adventure, possibly.
That's what I was saying too, you know, your goals are definitely have to change, that's, you know, I think pursuing, like, you're not gonna be, go back to your, you're probably gonna push you, politics or something like that.
Possibly.
Yeah. Which, we'll see, it's all, see what else that scores, but, you know, right now, it's still the goal, is, you know, a KU or a Washburn, or one of those two, so.
Yeah.
I talked to, I've got a contact right now, who's kind of working through the process, you know, what you'd be doing for studying, what to study. He was an assistant to John Roberts, Supreme Court last year. So, I guess he tested in 99 percentile, that's what I said. So he's a KU right now, full ride, like a ride scholarship, they call it. He's like completely everything, paid for housing,
Right.
everything.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
fall, it's understood. Life's too short.
Yeah.
But that intern program, I've said that for a long time, and commissioners have always said, you know, our young people's where it's at, and it is, you know, you have good homes, and good jobs, and good schools, so kids are better, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to have that for kids to come back. Nobody's gonna come back to a town that doesn't have school, you know?
Yeah.
And doesn't have good paid jobs, and doesn't have good schools. They don't want to put their kids, you know, someplace that doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And so if you have an opportunity like for you to come back here and do this.
Especially, you know, if you're gonna do that with law school students.
Yeah.
Because I went and sat on a panel with like 7 attorneys at school, and they said that your first year of law school, you know, depending on where you're testing at your class, you have 25 firms that come in and start snatching up kids. They go like, he's here, I'll take him, we're gonna come work for them. So it'd be nice, you know, for obviously Cobb County to have something, you know, working towards getting kids back.
Yeah.
Because if not, they're gonna get snatched up, work somewhere else. And that's what they said too, the attorneys that I talked to said that that's what they do, you know, you come back and you work for the summer and they pretty much, you know, start grooming you to re-work there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's gotta be an advantage in it. Nobody's gonna do it. There's gotta be something there.
Yeah.
I'm Judge White, he's smart.
Yeah, I can talk to him this morning.
He's a smart guy. Very smart.
How long has he been out there?
Let's see. Came in here right before Froning retired. You know, he was a magistrate judge and moved on up to district after Phil retired, so he'd been here 3 or 4 years before Phil did, so. He's a smart guy. He's a good judge. Cares about the kids and cares about families, and he does his job, but he's got a heart too, you know.
Yeah.
Also another question, so when they do this, executive sessions, what they just don't like public to do that.
Well, for example, let's say that you're a millionaire, you know, you've got, you're an inventor, and you've got a new product, and you don't want it getting out if the patent's not done yet.
Gotcha.
So you don't want to sit up here and talk. So that green light sitting over there, this is all being recorded. And so you don't want to sit here and talk about your trade secrets.
Yeah, someone gets the idea.
That's right. And somebody goes out and gets patented before you do. So you go downstairs in executive session, and you talk about that, you know, in a controlled environment. And most of the time, you know, they'll sign an agreement that says that they can't talk about it, you know, but, that's an example, you know. No business wants to talk about a secret that they have that, you know, is proprietary or whatever, that lose their business, you know.
Yeah.
You know, say for example, Taco Bell, it's not that company here. They want to talk about it quietly because they don't want people to know they're coming here for, you know, stores.
Yeah.
There's some politics involved in that, push and pull and getting businesses in, and if we can get the money, you know, to help fund it, and what deal can you give me? You know, I'll come in here and build the building, but I don't want to pay taxes or anything on it for 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
Let me get by without having to pay taxes for 10 years and go build something here, you know,
Bring it
whatever,
back.
yeah. There's a lot of, again, it's legal, you know, you can only have executive session for a few things. you just can't say, well, I don't want the public to know, you know, and go down in executive session, there are only certain reasons, you know, trade secrets, like I said, talk about it, you know. Land acquisition, you don't wanna know that you're buying this place of land for Taco Bell, because,
Yeah.
you know, if it's up for sale, maybe somebody else might have underneath it, you know, so there's only certain things that you can do, and I don't know all of them. No department heads can talk about their employees in open session. They can me, because I'm an elected official. But if I don't wanna talk about my employees, I have to go into executive session to do it. That's a reason.
Okay. Gotcha. So you can stand there and they can talk to you and ask you questions, so.
They can drill me, they can do whatever, yeah.
Okay.
To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's elected officials, that's something else you'll learn. Elected officials are, I mean, there's only a few things that can get you thrown out of office. Felony. You know, embezzling money, for example, being out of your office or something.
Yeah.
At a recall election, you could be so, you could be an imbecile, you could do something that the public didn't like and they could recall you. But other than that, you can't do anything to elected official, it's free.
Yeah.
You're there for 4 years and so, you know, it's, enforcement's totally different. There's been court cases over this.
No, we're gonna go to comedy.
That we're supposed to work together. You know, you gotta work together. But they're not my boss, I'm not theirs. We work together.
Yeah.
And basically,
When you say the freedom balance of that?
well, this commission is great for me. They've been good to me. Like I said, they've been very good to me. I've done things that the prior administration didn't. I came up here and told them things that I didn't have to. Sure, but I could just go do it. I came up here and talked to them and told them what I was gonna do, and then gave them a reason why I was gonna do it. And then, you know, so everybody, okay, if you didn't have to, I know I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But
Communication.
we're gonna work together, that's right, we gotta communicate, not just tell me what I'm doing, tell the public, work on camera, I know about it.
Yeah.
And that's been very good for me. They've been very open to me. And this jail project was, in the beginning, was a nightmare. It's, you know, we're up here all the time talking to them about stuff. They've been good, they've been good.
What are you saying against that, you guys are gonna have pretty good support of the, on the next one, you go to the 25th.
Well, so it sure seems like, yeah.
Is that because of location, or?
I don't know. Some of the first meetings we've had, you know, there were basically 3 concerns that you're not gonna say, well, it costs too much. We didn't have the location tied down. Location, cost, and how they're gonna pay for it. And the commission was in favor. And so, we realized that that was our problem, you know, we were going out there trying to inform the public what we wanted to do, and they didn't wanna hear that, they wanted to hear solids, where you gonna build it, you know, what's it gonna cost, and so that caused a lot of stuff going up there. So we fought for several months to try to find some property we could buy, and that was not there. And we thought we had some property bought, and that didn't end up working out, and so, you know, you talk to the citizens, and you think for example, so, you know, because you can't get some property, you're talking to them about it, and all of a sudden it falls through, you know. The county property, right here, parking lot, the commissioners decided they wanted it, and, so we had that part paid off. So then you have, you know, how much is it gonna cost, you know? Some people was thinking there's no way that they want to pay $24.8 million for this, but that's not totally true. It's, you know, 24 million, but it's gonna take another 3 or 4 to construct the stuff. We're gonna tear out the old jail, you know, the old sheriff's offices, and build more offices, so there's some cost there. It's not, the jail loans cost them 24 million, but, you know, so it's to fix here, the current stuff here, and the jails of that 24 million. So the commissioners have said they're willing to put some money up, you know, between $5 and $10 million, just upfront. And as a reserve, not the county has, then we'd have to do finance the other 15 years later. So now they've got this bond attorney, which is, and that's all it is, you know, until we have found stuff, how to do bonds, all the taxable, non-taxable bonds, and all this. Is it, yeah, Kobe just, yeah. Oh, we did. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll have to take him in for lunch too. But, you know, so I said, he's, you know, that's just look like it, so. If he knows anything about that, I would look at that seriously, because I don't know what I have. But anyway, so there's that aspect of it, you know. And, he'll sit down with this auditor, he'll sit down with the commissioner, and tell him here's what he recommends, you know. Because we've said since day one that we've done the next taxes, how to do that, so we're hoping we're gonna do it without raising taxes, and some are still, because I think if we want that, we should raise taxes, you know. So we just wanted to, hopefully we can spend some of this money for reserves, and the town payment on it, we have to, you know, finance it about 15 and get nothing. We do that, we'll, that's what we're talking about to the, this ad hoc group next Wednesday, is this next step we talked about, why we need their, kind of, helping design, to call that to them, but there's no doubt, people are saying, okay, it's time to follow. It's old, it's gonna get somebody hurt, you know, it's time to move on, so, yeah, we're trying to figure out, how we're gonna pay for it. Yep. So, you'll go moving on this second, hopefully the taxpayers realize that it's needed, you know. Yeah. For these, I have, starting June 2nd, 2 weeks, I'll be in a different town every Thursday. And you get like a little town hall meeting, we have, talking to the public about it, you know. Bring pictures, bring schematics, bring drawings, and talking to them about the same thing we've been talking to these committees about, and tell them, we need your support, we need that support, you know. So, just if it doesn't get approved on August 2nd, we're down to the
sure.
Well, I'm gonna put it on there, I put it out Friday to all the members, but yeah, I can put it on our Facebook page.
Okay, I just wondered.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna be voting.
Yeah, already, yeah, they need to know, yeah, absolutely. Pardon me? Yeah, he keeps saying that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Good time?
About.
3 minutes. Chilly.
Chilly.
I go back and forth. One minute I'm sweating, the next one I'm like, okay, no, hold on. Med class. Yeah, I know, like, okay, I'm hot, and then I'm like, freak, okay. The hospital's air conditioning has not been working very good. So it's been pretty miserable.
He's waiting for the commission whenever they're ready.
Okay, I'll holler at him.
Okay.
What? Other, we moved out of college, I think, apart. Seems like you want to use Rick back. So, she was like, your part, where, I think it's the first day she's starting. So now
Oh, I know. Okay, we'll get it figured out today. We can't get it in there, coyote,
Right on time? Well, first time for everything. Well, we're waiting on Bobby. Supposed to have a break at 9:50.
We can move that.
2 minutes away.
Does anybody need a break in 2 minutes?
I'm sure they won't mind, they're still discussing on exactly the verbiage they want to use for this next one.
You need a break?
I'm fine.
Standing right out there.
Nobody needs a break, we'll wait. Sheriff, how are you today, sir?
I'm fine, sir, and you?
I don't know. Last week was a blur.
If the sheriff has something, maybe we can just go ahead with him.
You got anything?
No, sir.
You don't have anything?
I'm here for moral support of my
Moral
nephew.
I was supposed to talk to, Larry last week, and I think he sent out a group text. I don't know who all was in a group text. I told him, I said, I'm on the road all week trucking. I said,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
I
get
saw
to
that.
call you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still did get the call. but
Jason
I-
White Lines thing's what you said,
Yes,
wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah. I saw that.
If I remember right, he could probably take you down and pin you, couldn't he?
He thinks he can. Yeah. Just so he doesn't realize that
Yeah.
I don't fight fair.
I've seen him I've seen him wrestle a few times.
I'm dirty, I fight dirty.
Yeah, there is no fight
I,
first night.
I fight dirty. You don't think she'll have a knee blown out and this is over with?
That's,
If I can get some oxygen, I can go all day long.
my grandson wrestled too, and he said, I can take you down. I said, you gotta remember, I don't wrestle, I fight.
Mr. Bobby, you next?
I would like to ask the commissioners to go into executive session for 20 minutes to discuss, is that right? I had listed trade secrets and affairs of a financial corporation, but we'd rather go in under discussions of attorney-client
So
negotiations.
I got a preview of what the topic is, and I think understanding what the topic is, I would request it under the attorney-client exception. I think it's more in line with discussing county policy as it relates to the county bidding process. And myself and Bobby and the board. I think that's a better area of knowing what the subject matter is.
20-minute executive session,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Are you in this one, Wade?
Yes.
Okay. I know you said Bobby and the board, so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll go in at 9:53 for 20 minutes.
Spent some of the time that was hitting inside the shed.
All right, we're back.
Round table?
It feels odd, but yeah. We're at round table.
Oh, Mark
All
is
this
ready.
blue sky I told you about was in it. Here we go.
You stacked it last week, so,
Yeah.
and I've never seen an agenda like last week. Every 15 minutes.
And if 15 turned 30, 30 turned to 45.
You want me to go ahead and start while we're waiting for Mark?
He'll be here in 2 minutes. Take less. I know you'll be windier in 2 minutes. It's true. You got a week's worth of catch up, Wade.
Nah, not that bad.
Good. Hold you to it.
We should be done by noon.
I'll believe that when I say it.
It'll be what it'll be. I'm here all day.
Well, while we're waiting and the sheriff is here, I read this potential jail meetings. I actually have a conflict with 3 of them. I have other meetings that I will be at. I've always been there, and
Oh, I understand that.
I just,
Yes.
and one of them, the last one, July 14th at New Strawn Fire Station, that's the same night as the New Strawn City Council meeting. And I would think we would want the city council members to be at that meeting. I don't know.
I could move it, I suppose.
Well, I mean, that one specifically, wouldn't we, if we're in the community, wouldn't we want the city council members to try to be able to be there?
And I didn't move it, I'll move it.
Well, I'm just throwing it out.
I think city council actually need to be. Thursday night's normally a pretty open night for most,
That's why I chose
Thursday's
Thursday
a
night.
pretty good open night. I know that they were all open for me, but it might have been unusual.
Mark, did you get some more findings on that for us?
Yeah, I believe the numbers are correct, based on the appraised and assessed value. And if you're interested, I even hand calculated it based on, the numbers. 25% of the appraised value is the assessment rate for commercial property. So, and then you apply that times the mill levy for that area. I got copies if everybody wants.
If we do this, the refund, will it go back like it did on the other property for future taxes? In other words, not be a refund of cash, but a refund of credit for future taxes? That's what we did.
So he paid the first half, right?
I understand that, but when we refunded on the other building, which basically is the same person, that money went back, did not get the money back. The treasurer came in and we discussed it. That money would be held for future taxes.
I think as long as if there's nothing owed on any properties of said owner, I don't think you can hold it. I think you have to refund it.
I think we did.
Well, there was money owed, I believe.
The second.
I think he was given the option, I think.
They were all paid up, I think. They were all paid at that time.
Okay, might have been.
Yeah, they were all paid up is the reason they came in and then had the hearing.
I think that would be a question for the attorney at PVD or Wade maybe, to whether you can hold that or how that.
Well, we did it, that's why I'm asking you. We did it once.
I apologize, I misread. Because it does look like it's correct. And the bottom side kind of a little bit misleading, because we're only having a refund of half. So, to me, it's correct, Mark.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I did.
So you were thinking, you was looking at half of that as a refund and?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that wouldn't.
So it's my fault.
That's okay.
Appreciate you checking it out.
Okay.
I guess that's what we're here for, to make sure.
Hey, Mark, you said you have a copy of what you wrote
Mhm.
by hand. Just,
Yeah.
I just want that to go to Angie, since it's been referenced in case somebody wants to.
Yeah, it's on the back page.
I want her to make sure she has a copy in case somebody makes a request.
I was putting too much emphasis on the top part, not the middle.
You have any questions about this?
I don't think we have any more questions.
No.
Other than what we're gonna do, is it gonna be a refund or is it gonna be a credit? And I'm looking at our.
I'd have to go back and look. So,
I guess I'll throw it out on the motion. I'll throw it out on the motion. Motion's on the floor. It's been reviewed and it is correct. Motion to authorize, direct the chairman to sign one tax abatement in the amount of $683.38. Motion's failing on the floor. No move. We're gonna table again and do some more evaluating of what transpired on the last tax abatement.
Over here on the right-hand side, in the clerk section, I see it was declined, and in the treasurer section, I see it was declined.
Right, that was from.
What's that?
That was from,
From our February meeting.
yeah, from the February meeting, it was February 28th, and so March 1st, we declined it, not sending it on through the treasurer's office.
Okay, that's
is
what
what
it
that
is,
is,
okay.
yeah.
Well, but here was it
Virtually
declined?
goes back
Yeah.
to us.
Right.
At that point,
Okay.
when you
But
decline
it's
it.
still, right, but it's still hanging out on our side, right at the moment. The treasurer's office was wanting to know, are we moving this through, or what are we doing? So that's why I put it back here to see how we were gonna take care of it, so.
So right now, the only question we currently have would be whether we're gonna refund it or hold it for payment here in December on other taxes. Is that correct?
That's, yeah.
So we can check with Richard and see,
Sorry?
we can check with Richard and see how he's done that.
Okay.
Well, he recommended the last time, can we just bring him in and see what he has to say?
Yeah,
I mean, he was the one, I think he came in and told us that's what was going to happen the last time.
I don't know if he's here, but I'll check.
I just wanna make sure that we
I
can,
saw
we
him
can do
anyway.
that.
Yeah.
If there's no money owed to any property of said, I don't know that you can hold it. Wade, that might be something we have to look at.
That makes logical sense, but I'd wanna double check it.
Right.
Sure. I wasn't a part of this, so.
We may have to do some more discovery.
Getting too far ahead of myself, it's probably an easy answer, but I don't have.
I know we just did it the last time, we did, so that's why I asked if.
Right, I was under the impression there was still money owed on properties
No,
at that point.
my impression was that all the taxes were paid, and then the hearing was requested after the taxes were all paid.
Well, he has to pay at least the first half to generate a hearing.
Before you,
But Mark, there's two different things, and I think people get confused about what they can appeal or protest. One is, which we just had with valuations, you can protest your valuation, which is a different statute and a different statutory mechanism and process. The second way is you can do it, your actual property taxes, which is at the back end of the year. So I've been called, and there are two different statutes that come into play, and someone might think they're challenging one, and they're actually not challenging the right thing under the right statutory mechanism. Is that a?
That's correct. And currently, the way the law is now is that if you appeal in March or spring, you can't appeal again for the same tax year in December.
And that's written into the statute, that if you appeal or protest your valuation, I believe it's either one or the other. I'd have to pull the statute out, but that, you can't do both, or you get one or the other. And if you want more clarification on that, I don't have it in front of me, but.
Well, I don't think that's the issue right now. The issue right now is, Mr. Richard, do you remember back on?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do we have to refund, or can we apply towards future taxes on
The
said
bank asked
property?
that they get.
Huh?
The bank, they didn't pay the full amount last time, so any amount they have due will now be paid out of this. And any bills they may have with the county have to be paid out of this, and then the bank wants the rest.
Oh, so the bank's got a lien on it, or
Yeah,
Something, I got payment.
yeah, I'm supposed to make the check out to the bank.
Okay. So this is
I
not.
thought we could, but we can't just hold the money, because technically it's theirs, so.
Well, that's what I.
And I talked to him, and he said, yeah, go ahead and keep it. And the bank says,
No.
technically that's ours,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
So it's not gonna have his name on it, payable just to him, it's the bank. He'll also be on it, but it's, the bank says, yeah, we want us.
He's gonna have to sign it before the bank can do anything with it.
Yeah.
But the bank's
But
gonna have
banks.
possession of the check. Is that enough clarity, gentlemen?
So any bills he might have with the county get paid. Taxes, anything else, whatever.
it looks to me like we just move ahead with it.
Yep.
So,
Donald moved to approve the $683.38 on the tax abatement. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
yes, it has a second.
Oh,
Wait a second.
sorry, you moved.
I'll second.
Bob
Keep
second.
it moving on.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
that must be just.
So I need to sign it.
Well, yeah.
She's got one.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Where did we get 680?
638, wasn't it?
683.
680. Sorry, 683.38.
$1,600?
Yeah,
Oh, I see on the bottom, that's the refund amount,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
That's just the refund, that's not what the abatement would be, is it?
yeah, because the net change in total tax dollars is the 1366, so the refund amount is 683.38.
So he already paid half the taxes.
Right, I know that. You're just approving the refund, not the entire abatement.
Right.
Right.
Okay, just make sure what's going on. All right,
Thank you.
because I gotta write checks, so, thank you.
No, what is today? Today is the- what,
16th.
16th?
New strong beats on what? Second Thursday of each month.
Sure. Where are we at? You got anything else for us?
No, I
Okay.
can't.
There's the sign.
Okay.
That's for Angie,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for clarity.
Bob, you got anything else for us?
Yes, sir, I got one last thing. This is a letter that's my original. I'm sorry. This is a letter I received, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and just wanted to think about it and research it. I even, especially did research to make sure you could use your funds for this, the ARPA funds, but we received a request from an individual, a business owner, actually a relative of a business owner, who's had an extraordinarily bad, did you get one? Time over the past year or so.
So,
And,
Bobby, before we go too far, just seeing some of what is on here,
Mhm.
reference to hospital stays and that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not sure have they given your permission to present this because it ends
Yes.
up being an open?
yes,
Okay. I just wanna make sure.
yeah, a lot personal, yeah.
HIPAA type material on here.
Yeah. So they have went down different paths trying to find assistance, and everybody keeps pointing them back to, hey, the county and the cities got ARPA money just for this. And so part of what I researched is, yes, this is a qualifying instance. I'm not asking for any action today, but I am asking you to read this letter. You may know this business or not. Consider the request, possibly, maybe, consider using some of your ARPA money that you still have, to make a contribution to this situation. I validated 2 pieces of this. It's a real instance of COVID. But anyways, I will come back to you at a later point and ask you more about this. Just if you don't have any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wade.
First thing I wanna do is, as I mentioned earlier, have an intern for the summer. Cale Johnson, he's a 2020 graduate of Burlington High School. He's gonna be with me for the summer. He's expressed an interest in the law, wants to be, an attorney, and one day, hopefully, if things, work out right, he'll be Coffee County attorney somewhere down the road. which I think is a very important opportunity for him, for Coffee County, to bring somebody who's homegrown, bring them back and they want to be here. So, I'm gonna invite him up so he can introduce himself to you. I told him he'd be, saying a couple words, so he said his education has prepared him to get up and say something to you, so, Cale Johnson.
You said 2 words, Wade, can you summarize it in 2 words?
Nope.
Okay, so I go to Penn Baker University right now. I'll be a senior in the upcoming year. I did graduate from Burlington in 2020. Right now the plan is to attend law school, you know, somewhere around the region, so KU, Washburn, UMKC, somewhere like that. And, you know, yeah, the opportunity to come back here would be amazing. With Mr. Bowie here, the opportunity to come back and watch someone in everyday lifestyle of an attorney, it's an awesome experience for me. So I'm very grateful he's gonna have me come back and work for him, and, yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll plant roots when you get out of law school in Coffee County.
That's the
As you
plan.
can see, there's a need for it in this
Absolutely.
area.
Sounds like he's asking you to come back and take his job.
We might be tired of waiting by then. Oh, wait a minute, he's voted in.
Some are tired of me already. So my position has always been, wherever I've been, if you bring people in and you teach them everything you know, and whether they take your job or they go somewhere else and plant roots, and that's an honor for me. So for Cale to want to come back, he job shadowed when he was still in high school, and I told him there's always an open invitation, and he's taken me up on that, so he's back. And fortunately for him, there's a lot of things going on in the county, on the county government side. He's going to get to be a part of and see the jail project and what's going on with it. We have a trial coming up in a couple months that he's going to help me work on. So it's going to be an awesome summer for him to get to the full experience.
Yeah, it's an awesome opportunity to come back and actually sit in on someone and watch them how they work, because, you know, you can sit in class all you want, but you're not in the lifestyle of an attorney every day and seeing what they do, so it's really awesome for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Awesome, good luck to you.
Thank you.
If he takes it as serious as he does his wrestling, which I figure he probably will, he'll be doing great. He'll be great with it.
Thanks, sir.
Very good, very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Learn a lot.
Oh, I will.
You're a
Absolutely.
sponge, absorb all you can.
Absolutely.
Remember, you're here with Wade, not Uncle Tom.
I was wondering why Uncle Tom was here, but I didn't know he was an uncle until just now.
Do you have a cabin?
Pardon me?
You have a cabin?
Got a cabin.
You never heard of Uncle Tom's Cabin?
Oh, yeah.
No?
No, he told me here a while back that he wanted to do this endeavor. And in the same sentence, he said, "You've got to stay sheriff long enough for me to be the prosecutor." And I said, "I'm not staying until I'm 90. You better get through school and get out." So I pushed him a little bit to get on, get this
going.
law school thing done. But again, Wade, James Campbell, again, would be another great mentor. And Judge Wine have told me that anything that Cale needs to move on, they're there to help. So this is an awesome opportunity. And from my perspective, we've always said that to have our kids come back here and stay here is what it's all about. To have good schools, good paying jobs, that kids want to come back here and raise their families like we've done. And this is a perfect opportunity that we hope that other kids will look at. And I say kids, he's kid to me.
Kid does.
Yeah.
Still a kid.
But, yeah, I'm proud to have him here. Just great that Wade offered him this opportunity, and proud to have him here working for Coffee County for the summer. So.
Good luck. Like I say, I think it'd be a good step toward succession planning as well.
Yeah.
I mean, which is one thing I haven't noticed a whole lot of. Nothing against anyone, I'm just saying.
Sure.
I mean, here we are on the county engineer level, working on replacing that, and there was really no succession planning for that. Again, not taking anything away from anybody, it's just.
Yep, always have, so.
It'd be a good step toward that countywide in any department.
Everybody is replaceable, and at some point in time will need to be replaced. And you wanna make sure you have somebody in line to do that. So,
That's very true.
So I
I've
did,
been working on mine for a
did
while.
one other thing, I did tell him that every new employee that works here buys the sheriff and the prosecutor lunch the first day. So I need you to make sure that, shake your head yes, so he knows that's what, yeah, okay,
That's the
good, yeah,
rules.
yeah.
I told him the whole college experience, you know, with ramen noodles, PB&J's.
Yeah.
Bring that in, yeah.
They didn't say how you're supposed to.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Give them that, and then you'll see where they really stand.
Thanks, I'm going back to work.
Also, yeah, I'd like to thank Mr. Brody too, from like, he had a presentation in high school, he came in and gave it to us for a class, and that actually made me want to pursue law, so I'd like to thank him for that too.
cool.
Awesome. Good.
Going into the schools, if you have the opportunity as a commissioner to go in for government day, to explain what you do. I know I go in, I went to Burlington High School to that same class, I went up to Lebo here a few weeks ago. I know Eric Smith has been up and talked, I think, as state representative. I don't know if he did it as undersheriff as well.
Both, yeah.
He did it as both, but I think one of you or two of you individually go into the schools and do the same thing, because not a lot of people know and understand what you do. And I think it's important for high school students, and if my experience in going in and speaking to his class made him want to go into law, I think that's why it's so important.
The kids ask serious questions. This is not, you know, these kids are educated kids, and the kids that are asking questions are interested, so.
When I was in the school, both Burlington and Lebo, I was asked multiple questions about the jail project from the high school kids. They wanted to know what was going on with the jail project. They wanted to know why Coffee County needs a new jail, what's wrong with what we have. This is coming from high school kids. So I did my best to explain it, and after I explained it, they seen it made sense to them. So they then go out to their friends and their parents and whoever else that they want to talk to about it, say, oh, no, I heard, because they had some of the same misconceptions and misinformation that a lot of other citizens had. And it's important that we go out and we educate and communicate with our peers, with our constituents across the county. Speaking of the jail, and Tom can tell you, the jail is full. In fact, you're having to farm people out again.
It got warm, like you said, it would happen.
Yeah.
Well, between that, Friday was Friday the 13th, if you,
Full moon.
and then a full moon. So all those things are the perfect storm. And I think
eclipse.
Tom's people that were sort of maybe not as actively engaged as they were due to their own personal issues are back out, and I think you have some very solid deputies who know what they're doing, and I think that jail is gonna end up continue to be full and probably over capacity for the rest of the summer.
COVID's over with. You know, people are out doing things, you know, and sometimes not making the best decisions, put it that way, so.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I will see you two around then.
So, you can take a seat, you don't have to stand up here, but.
Well, thank you again for introducing
Thanks,
yourself.
Bill.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
So the next thing I want to do is maybe revisit a topic from last week, and this isn't paperwork for you, that's was my stack there. I was by phone last week, and the reason I was by phone is I wasn't in local, I wasn't even in the state. And why I don't advertise that, I think is pretty obvious. But I think it's important that when you have people who are going out of state, or aren't gonna be home for training or something else, that they don't come in and on YouTube or wherever else advertise that, because if I would've came in and said I was gonna be in another state for a period of time, there are people who will use that as an opportunity to try to maybe do something nefarious, and I don't want to see that happen. We have a number of criminal cases just in Coffee County where people break into cars, buildings, homes, and I think if somebody is given advance notice, then that opportunity may be seized, maybe not. So the second part is, I know there's a lot of stress on if somebody's gonna go to a training, whether it be in-state or out-of-state, that they come before the commission. I think it's obvious why that doesn't need to be done in an open session. I think it could be done by a memo. I would encourage you on out-of-state. When I was the Allen County attorney, and I wanna maybe get your response, I went to Vegas for a training, and I went to San Diego for a training. And what does that make you think?
Vacation.
A vacation. So I was in Vegas for a week, and I was in San Diego for a week. And the county paid for my lodging, and the county paid for the training. Do you have an issue with that? I mean, is that kind of like, well, why would the county pay for something like that? I'll tell you why. The Vegas training was a prosecution training put on by the National District Attorneys Association. And they pick venues so that you can go, and from 8 to 5 you're in that training, and then in the evening, because you're there for that training, you can go explore. Maybe somewhere where you wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to explore. That's what I did in Vegas. That's the one and only time I've ever been to Vegas, and I don't plan on going back. And I have a cousin that lives in Vegas, and I still haven't been back to see him. So I roomed with another Kansas prosecutor who to this day is still one of my good friends. The networking opportunities that I gained at that training, we had members from the DEA and the FBI and other people came out and spoke. I mean, you don't just sit and go and waste your time. It's actually a very fruitful training. The San Diego training was put on by the National Drug Court Institute, and it was training where I was there with the Chief Judge of the 31st Judicial District, Judge Kreitz, who's still down there to this day. I was with another defense attorney, and was with probation officers, and there were teams from all across the country. Again, during the day you went to class, and then in the evening you went out and you explored. So while I was there, on my off time, in the evening I went to Petco Park and watched the San Diego Padres play. I probably would have never done that. I only mention this, I've been out of state and gone to training. I don't think it's totally out of the ordinary. I would encourage you to maybe consider a policy every other year. If you go to an out-of-state training, and it would have to be something that, would need to pass muster, but there may be some trainings that I'd like to go to that are out of state, and you need to, in my opinion, if you want to continue to educate and grow your workforce, they need to get trained. They need to go to training, and I would highly encourage that. I go to trainings in state all the time. I have to maintain my law license, and there may be trainings that people want to go to that are in state that either they're on a board for, which to me, if you're on a board and you go to a training, that is advertising that Coffee County is representing this board, and they're represented wherever they go. If they don't show up, then you're probably not going to get those people on those boards, because they're going to indicate that, well, Coffee County employees, they just don't show up. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective and a reason why I feel training is so important. I know you get the final word, but coming from maybe a different perspective, that's where I am. So, any Any questions, any comments?
How do you value, by looking at the agenda, and of course, we've never seen an agenda on anything we go to other than KAC meeting.
Right.
But if you get an agenda, how do you truly evaluate it, the value of that particular training course, or?
Who's evaluating it? You or the person who may want to attend?
I understand.
I mean, what I look at when I see an agenda may be completely different than what you would look at,
Yeah.
because I know what that subject matter is, and I know what those topics will provide to me. So when I look at something, I mean, I don't want to be frivolous and waste taxpayer money. So I look at things from the angle where if it's going to help benefit me and educate me on something that may be a topic that comes up here, whether it be on this side or in the courtroom, then I'm going to attend, because I don't think you can ever have enough training. My focus has always been on, going back a little ways. I went and spent a week in Salina and audited a drug recognition expert course. Now that's mainly for law enforcement, so when you have drug impaired drivers on the road, law enforcement have some additional tools in their tool bag. Do I go out there and do that? No, but so I can understand when I need to put an officer on the witness stand, what it is they do and why they do it. That's why I did it. And that was a week of time, and that was taxpayer money. I felt it was important, but now that's in my toolbox. And I think you have others who will come before you and request to go to certain training, and you have to, maybe you go through that analysis. What does this training, how will it help you? How will it help the county? And you'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. I know when the KAC has their annual meeting, and not to be critical of any of their programs, there's always maybe 3 or 4 sessions out of the 8 or 9 that they provide, there's some value at. Maybe a third of it. But most of the evaluation coming out of the KAC meetings or the other meetings that we're had the opportunity to go to, you gain a lot of information in talking to other commissioners on what maybe some of their programs are, what their policies are and stuff.
So a lot of the trainings over the last several years, I guess 2 or 3 years since COVID, have been by Zoom. So one might say, well, why can't you attend by Zoom? I've attended more Zoom meetings than I can probably count at this point. I do court by Zoom. Problem with Zoom, it's great, but there's some downside to it. The ability to network is lost if you don't go in person. And for all the prosecutor trainings I've been to over the last almost 20 years, I have so many contacts that I've made across the state by networking at those after the meetings are over and you go to a social or you go to dinner, and they are still people that I maintain contact with and I use as resources. So don't think that Zoom has its place, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it should be the only. I think if you're going to come up with some hard and fast rules regarding training, I would consider allowing and approving the on-site training and whatever frequency and criteria. Zoom training should always be encouraged. And then to have maybe the every other year for out of state if it meets certain criteria. Second part of that is, I know we talked about it at one point in time, and I think I remember Tom and I talking about it as establishing a per diem for meals. Because when I was in Allen County, for example, I had, I don't know, and I'm just throwing these numbers, $15 for breakfast and $20 for lunch and $30 for dinner. And if I didn't use all of it, then I could use it all at one time. but that was my daily allotment. Anything over that, I was responsible for. That way you're not having somebody go out and they end up at, some really fancy.
For lunch?
I mean, you can get a decent meal. I'm thinking to get a filet mignon at dinner and it's $52, and then the voucher comes in and, you know, a $52 steak. I hope nobody would do that, but, I mean, if you don't have a limit, then that's something that could.
We've had that happen here before.
Okay, so there are places. I remember being in San Diego and I tried to pay for my dinner and my county credit card was declined. Reason why it was declined is they had some sort of parameter set up through the credit card company. If the establishment sold more alcohol than they did food, then it was considered an alcohol establishment, and it wasn't going to be covered because there should be no reason why taxpayers are paying for alcohol. If you're going to buy alcohol, it shouldn't happen on county money. So you can establish those things. And, you know, per diem is probably ripe for discussion as it relates to food. So I think I presented at one point in time, I mean, the state and feds have criteria. You could look at what the state's doing, what their per diems are, but that's a way to cut costs or to rein it in. So
I think it's a good idea.
I do too. If the policy manual is being revised, it's a good time and opportunity to do that. So
We're trying to make it smaller, not bigger.
sometimes
That would take a very big line.
the devil's in the details sometimes, though.
Yeah.
So that's really all I have. I will ask, and I apologize for doing this, but I need a couple more, a good afternoon to get that bid on the project across the street done. I thought I'd have more time, but I was in Michigan dealing with my late mother's house and dealing with some things that go with that. And I thought I'd have time to work on it, but I was putting in 15, 16-hour days, and then I drove back and just, I was wiped out. So I apologize, but I will get it to you this time next week at the latest.
Okay.
Any questions for me? Anything you want?
That all you
Want to
got?
know? That's all I got.
One question, you know, with these, we got 6 jail meetings coming up.
Yes.
I would like to go probably all 6 of them. It's on dates that I can free up. But if 3 or 4 of us are there, how are we gonna handle that? Or do we just absolutely say no more than 2? Can we sit in the background and just sit and listen?
I think you can always sit in the background and listen. I would encourage you not to have any dialogue or discussion.
I'll be quite honest with you, if you were showing up in Lebo, there probably wouldn't be anybody there who knew who the heck you were. And if I showed up in your town at a meeting, they probably wouldn't have a damn clue who I am.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, unless a person's got a white shirt on, says commissioner, district, whatever, they're probably not gonna have an idea. I was sitting in a coffee shop this morning having a little breakfast and heard 2 people talking about the county and a few commissioners and so on and so forth. They had no clue.
Is it the advisory committee and the sheriff basically in charge of those meetings?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's really not us
Yeah.
Right.
it's not us in charge of it, so.
So there's not an issue if 3 of us are there, we just sit in the background and listen.
It's always the optics of, if you have a number of you, the same way as if you all got on a car and drove to a conference together. You could talk about the Royals and how poorly they're playing the entire time, but the optics are that you're talking about county business when you're all together. I think when you're in an open venue like that and people see that that's not occurring and you're probably going to be sitting in different areas, then it's not as big of an issue, but it's optics. And there's a lot of good questions that, at least at the last one, that were asked, that may be a benefit to at least hear people audibly say. You know, the next one's on the 25th, so I'm almost certain there will be a lot of good discussion.
I think as they go along, the discussion's gonna get better and better and better, or more and more and more.
I think having the bond attorney on board now and being able to sort of work out those details and having a clearer picture on the financing side, and that's really where I'm hearing the most chatter at this point.
Long ways to go.
In a short
In
period of
a
time.
short.
It gets better.
But I think it can be done. I mean,
I do too.
a big step was made last week, Pickens Run.
We got a lot of things off our table last week, a lot, and the church deal will be the last one. Well,
Until another one comes
until
out.
another one.
Until the next,
Services.
until the next one floats in the door.
Cause I was out looking at the parking lot this morning with, Barb and some of those, this is my roundtable discussion, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't, I'll wait.
Well, if Wade's gonna be gone, you might wanna go
Well,
ahead.
just some of those areas are really pretty dilapidated, and it doesn't make any sense to do a whole lot of repair work out there. There's where the,
Tear it up.
because a lot of that's gonna go in conjunction with, but,
Right.
I mean, when talking another year down the road, I mean, we'll make some spot repairs just for safety purposes. I don't know.
Probably wouldn't hurt.
I mean, everybody else maybe take a look on your way out to your vehicle, see what you think, so.
There's one spot that we drive through
Yeah,
quite often, that
that's quite a-
definitely needs something in it.
Yeah.
There's some holes out there, but
But
Some of that
it can be
other-
a temporary fix up.
Yeah, that one you're talking about is down that one, west entrance, but these are just right out there at the end of the sidewalk leading onto that drive that goes out to the north, and just, it's real crumbly and it's, concerning.
I don't know why this popped into my head, but I was, at Road and Bridge here, a week, 2 weeks ago, and one of the things that I think is a good recommendation is you add, a water cooler in the back end of that property and they can select where that is. And then there's also an area where I recommended that they put a water filter on, especially since it's gonna be getting hotter. And they're gonna be filling coolers to go out on the road to help filter water. So I think those are, if you see that come through, those are good recommendations. And I think that will help with, well, I don't know if it'll help, but I think it would help with employee morale out there, that, you know, their water is important, that they stay hydrated, and, that their water be filtered.
Are you gonna be leaving for a little bit? If you don't, I wouldn't mind asking a question while Wade is here. We had a presentation here about 4 months ago, on the proposed transmission line going from Wolf Creek to Missouri. Mark there was an article in the paper this week, and discussing about KCC and talking about that particular project. I understand there's been a huge amount, and the word huge is probably right, opposition to that line.
Right.
And the process that the company is trying to attain the right to establish the line. What position do we need to be taken under, and I understand the project don't start until 23, but if it's going to be allowed, you know, they're working in process now. And I don't fully understand, you know, the KCC, the stance that they took and everything, but do we need to be taking a position on that, or just flat allowing it to happen, or have some discussion to have more information on it than what we received 4 months ago?
I mean, I think it's never wrong to have more information. I mean, they came in and they gave their, what I'd call, their sales pitch of why it makes sense, and it was all the reasons why, in their opinion, it makes sense. Now, does that mean it makes sense to Coffee County taxpayers? Not exactly, because this transmission line has to go across the county and be placed on people's property, and how that works and what that looks like. The second part of that, and I read the same article you read, is what is the benefit to the state of Kansas? What is that money being pumped back in? Why is the line being run from Wolf Creek down into another state? And there was a reporter, I think, from the Topeka Capital Journal that had reached out to Andrea, and I called them back and I talked to them, and I can't remember what their name is right now, but they're going to be putting out an article talking about all the different angles of this project and what each of the counties know and what citizens are saying and that type of thing. So if you think they need to come back out and answer questions, we can invite them back. If you get input and feedback from constituents in your area that you feel need to be addressed, I'd encourage anybody who has an issue with the transmission line to reach out to their individual commissioners, so that those questions can be, or issues or concerns can be put in one pot, and then if we get those people back, then those questions can be asked and answered by the people who are involved.
Well, there's one legal counsel that's been retained by several landowners, as I understand it. And I was visited with the other day that the company that's building that transmission line is not licensed or permitted to even do any work in the county, in the state. Is there anything to that that particular entity can come in and build a transmission line without having proper papers in order?
I mean, I'd have to explore that. I've not had that question directly asked to me.
But to me, pretty plain.
Sure.
Here about 2-3 weeks ago.
So
you think, not to interrupt, I mean, something of this magnitude would have a stack of paperwork with the state and the feds and everybody about this deep.
Right.
I mean, I just assumed, so my take on it is, I mean, it's between the landowner and the people wanting to build the line. I mean, they gotta get easements. They can't just do them in the domain, I assume.
Kinda like the wind farm. That was between the landowners and the company. It wasn't between the county and anybody.
Yeah, I mean, on that, I just thought they were being informative. I didn't know we had any sort of, responsibility at all, other than,
I didn't either, but I think the further this, moves along, there may be some chatter that you need to listen to. So one of the people I talked to, and I can't remember who it was, what's the name of that company who came in?
Well, this is Extra Energy Transmission Southwest.
Yeah.
Attorney was Andrew O. Schultz.
Okay. So my understanding is that they are not and will not receive public utility status within the state, which if they receive public utility status and they can go through easements and sort of do what a utility company could do, that they have the authority just to go in and do it.
They'll
And
have to
that's-
ask for permission.
And that's very generically speaking. They're not a public utility that I'm aware of, and they're not gonna receive public utility status, so that means they have, to do anything, they have to have permission, is the way that, the very basic way it was explained to me. So if they're gonna put something anywhere, and it's probably similar to the wind farm, that's what they had to do then, right? So, I don't know how to answer the other part of the question, because I've not been asked that, directly about the licensing and whatnot, but I would think that they would have to have something in place, and I'll try to look into it.
My understanding is they don't have anything, but that's from one attorney.
Sure. So,
You never know what's hearsay on that.
I'm sorry?
You never know what's hearsay on that.
No,
But like I say again, I mean, a project of this magnitude, the paperwork's gotta be mountains.
you would think it would all be there,
Yeah.
but yet it still may be a work in process. In fact, it probably still is work in process, or KCC wouldn't be.
One other schedule to let them out, like, a long time, I can't remember what it was, you had it, but.
With the call that I got, the cost and, who's paying the cost is a lot of the issues.
There's
so
a
was it
lot of unhappy landowners right now.
Senator Thompson?
Mike.
He put out something here recently, I saw, that has a lot of questions about this transmission line. And my understanding is he has some ties to the local area from, some years ago.
He graduated here.
Yeah, okay. So
Played football with him.
I think he has a bead on it and is asking questions. And if you haven't seen what he had to say about it, I'd encourage you. I don't even remember where I saw it.
It's kinda like the wind farm, there was a lot of unhappy landowners, but there were a lot of happy landowners too.
Sure.
Evidently, they made the unhappy ones happy enough with enough money that they ended up getting it.
The unhappy ones were probably the ones that didn't get the windmill on their property.
They were the first ones who signed for a lesser amount.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Oh, they say.
this transmission line is also covering Anderson County and Allen County and Bourbon County. And I'm sure if there are concerns here, there are concerns there as well. And I'll also reach out to the, respective attorneys for those counties and see what their collective, comments are related to this project as well.
I mean, I'm assuming they did away with the power plant, used to be, that's down there east of Pittsburgh, east of Pittsburgh. Because it was a coal plant, and of course, they're phasing all that out, you know, and I would assume this is going to supply the I-44 corridor, would be my guess. Yeah, I-44. But in the deal, I seen it was gonna go westbound. Once it got down there, it was going to California.
Well, now, I was informed that it was going to Florida, so.
Florida, I don't know. I mean, is it a vital role for the nuclear plant to have this and be needed, so to speak, to continue on down another 30 years? Is it a benefit to the county?
Is that a question we need to have people in from Wolf Creek to have some
Highly
type of
beneficial.
discussion? You know, Matt
Highly
said,
beneficial.
Yeah, I would hope it would be, but that's something maybe we ought to have Wolf Creek come in and give us their spiel to the bouts of this power line. Because we really haven't, I mean, they haven't said anything about it. I mean, they've said a little bit about it, but I don't know, is this another artery that is locking Wolf Creek in even longer?
I think we're starting to make an issue out of something that's not an issue yet, because it's just on
Could be.
the verge of it,
Yeah.
and now you hear gossip going both directions.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon, eventually, it's going to get down to decision time, and then you're gonna have a lot of the facts. It's kind of like the jail started out. You had a lot of misinformation.
well, the producers are they're being contacted right now, so it's to the point to to where they need to have some concrete answers. Cause they're out working the land.
Are they doing the surveys now?
I don't know how far along it is. I know there's several producers that's, been in touch with the legal counsel. And I know that firsthand, that's not gossip. So,
I mean, it might make sense to have somebody from Wolf
I think we
Creek
need
come
to
out,
have some
because
questions.
just in my general conversation, and I by no means know how that whole operation works, but there are times when the plant can only produce or send out so much power because they have, they don't have enough lines going out. And I know it's probably a whole lot more detailed than that, but they have to turn the power back because they can only send out.
Well, and the efficiency rating drops at the nuclear plant when it goes below. I think their ideal is like 40% or something like that, or 50%. But when it starts dropping below that, then it really is inefficient to operate. And so they need to have a draw. There is needs for draw to come from Wolf Creek so they can operate a lot in their safe zone or their cost-effective zone. So I would say somebody from Wolf Creek would be great to just ask questions, bounce off of, and they might not know the answers.
But to me, it's to the point they better get some answers, especially with them being involved in it, and the construction dates in 23 is only a year away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look on the KCC website, you would see a lot of the non-confidential documents that were filed with KCC. You will also see that Evergy filed, I think, a motion to intervene, and so all of that history is accessible to each and every one of you, or those who are outside on the KCC website.
I bet the people of Wolf Creek know nothing about it, because I bet it all is dealing with Evergy at the top right as of this time.
And that I can't. You may be right, but Tim, you seem to know the article I was talking about. So I think one of the concerns is the energy would be sent outside the state of Kansas, so what does Kansas get out of it? And where is what is the advantage to the citizens of the state of Kansas for each of the individual counties where this line will go if money's not coming back to Kansas citizens? Is that a pretty good synopsis?
Yes, very much so.
So,
basically, who gets the benefits?
Evergy.
And are we paying for the cost of it?
That's what it said in the article.
Yes.
Meaning the users.
Yep.
Or not the users. Yeah, the users.
Well, your electric bill gets
Yeah.
higher.
Somebody's gotta pay for
Somebody's
it.
paying for it.
So, I mean, that's how the system works.
and it might be a good investigative editorial for maybe our paper to explore, since it is they're good.
Yeah, Mark, I guess he just kinda loaded you up, didn't he?
I mean, they can sometimes usually get some of the facts that we don't get unless we're in a meeting, and then be able to present it in a way, like the jail project. The paper did a great job
very
on
good job
representing
on
the
it.
jail project. And, I don't know if in the period of time you're wanting the facts that you're requesting, that's a more detailed investigation, unless you get people in here and you ask the questions while they're standing right here.
Should we get Matt?
I think I'll have Matt come in and see if he knows anything about it. If he doesn't know anything about it, then
Or somebody above it.
Or somebody above him.
What
that
about
does know
getting
for
both?
sure. Or both.
I think they need it. You know, as far along as the project is, somebody at Wolf Creek's gotta know what's going on, in my opinion, absolutely. You know, if it's 5 years down the road, maybe not. It's only 12 months away.
They should know that.
Yeah.
Or they know somebody that does know
Yeah,
something
I'll
about it,
guarantee
and
you.
get in touch with them. So,
You want me to call Matt to get on the agenda?
yeah, him or somebody that would know something about this, what was it called, Blackberry line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, he'll probably need 20 minutes.
I know I disposed of that because
I've got it right here.
I assumed it would be one of the things where I assumed it would be.
Do you want it, Tom?
Sure. For a brief.
You got anything else?
Like I say, I didn't think it would even be a concern of ours, given the magnitude of it, that would be
Figured it'd be
out of our,
KCC.
out of our hands.
Yeah, other than your bill.
Yeah, well. Yeah, see my bill.
It comes from your hand to theirs.
Well, just pull up to the gas pump.
Yeah, oh, it's okay. We're gonna pay higher prices. It's all
I
right.
know some of the people from, that outfit has contacted Coffee County and all the counties that would be affected about what permits are required to move about each of the counties.
I mean, yeah, it would have to be
Yeah.
even something that, oh, would have to be, my goodness.
And I don't even know if this
Not to mention,
was.
they don't string those lines up by hand, it's helicopters.
Uh-huh. I don't know if this next, whatever that is, next air or whatever it's called, I don't know if they're the ones that won the project or if they was just looking at bidding the project. I don't know if that's the right company that got the job or
I
not.
think they did.
They did?
They did,
I
yeah.
think the bidding's over, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
but I didn't know when they talked to us,
Yeah.
if they was looking at
They
it,
make, yeah.
See,
so.
they don't actually start construction till the third quarter of 2023. I mean, they've got almost the rest of the year getting regulatory approvals, land acquisitions. It's not even designed and engineered yet because they don't know exactly where it's going. They got environmental permitting they gotta go through, and that's not until third quarter, second quarter of next year.
They've got a lot of things that gotta happen in the next 15 months.
Well, that's true, but they got I mean, it's probably not a small firm where they got a team of people, one person or a team doing one and another team doing another thing, but and they're not even talking about even being in service till end of 2024, so I knew there was a schedule in there, so.
So once you get your questions or comments or concerns, which hopefully you will, they get all put into a pool, then we can see about inviting them back out to maybe field some of those questions.
These people?
Yep.
Or Wolf Creek people?
Well, I think you start with Wolf Creek to see what they know and what things look like on their end, and then as you get more information, Don, you talk to whoever it is you talk to, you get those comments, questions, and concerns, and then maybe they can be fielded back to the agency that will be running the line.
Yeah, that's coming right through your area.
I'm sorry?
Pretty close, right through your area.
Mine.
All
That's
10, all 10.
Oh, it's all
Yeah.
10?
Well, yeah, it will, because it will cover 5 or 6 miles and then 4 or 5 miles.
that's plenty.
Yeah.
You got anything else today, sir?
Nope.
Angie, got any round table business?
Yeah, I talked to Richard again about that tax abatement, and he said that we need to do the 1366.76, not the 683.38 refund. He said because of the change in their total tax dollars. So, I don't know if we can back up and modify that motion.
So the motion was 13,
66.
or yeah, okay. 1366, or the abatement is 1366. 76.
You're abating.
We're still just refunding 600, but next year it'll start over at the 1,300 reductions.
Well, I don't know, he just said we need
Yeah.
to, yeah. it'd
I can
be-
see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
We need to do it for the full year, just not for the 6
Yeah.
half, yeah. That's probably the way Richard would need it.
Amend it.
Yeah.
Can we just amend the motion for, tax abatement of $683.38? Move to authorize director chairman to sign one tax abatement in the amount of $1,366.76. Sound good?
Yeah.
I'll move that we amend it.
However, it needs to be corrected.
Well, I mean, I threw the motion out there.
All right.
I threw the motion out there of $1,366.76. Also, in the front side was amending the motion for $683.38.
I'll second it.
You'll move.
Oh, yes.
Tim's moved.
Second.
Don second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Not the clean way, but it's the way.
Okay. Secretary. Okay, I think I sent an email out to you guys regarding the road and bridge superintendent ad. I got a call from, the KAC Road Scholar lady, and she said that, to say 6 months after hire on this advertisement is, not even possible to do. She said that a 3-year would be more reasonable, more of a timely manner. She said sometimes it takes 5 to 6, but if you wanted to push them through, she said 3 years would be more realistic. Someone, I guess, had contacted her.
For what? What, I don't
To
understand.
complete the KAC Road Scholar Program.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause you can't do that in 6 months.
Yeah, and that's what the
That's what-
advertisement
what we
had
approved,
said.
though.
Yeah, and so I just need to know if you want me to modify this and then get it republished in the newspaper, and then I can notify KAC, but, I think they may have already printed it as the way it was, so I don't know so do you want me to change that to 3 years, or?
It sounds like that's a minimum. that
Yeah,
would
she
make
said
it
that,
work.
yeah,
yeah, I just modified it to 3 years.
okay.
Or, I mean, kinda like the, grant writing, that it'd be a plus, not a must.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause if they don't, 10 to 1 of the person seeking this job probably got it. They wouldn't have a grant writing, but this is just suggesting, just like thinking off the top of my head here that, because, I don't know.
So this is for Wayne's replacement, is what you're
Right,
talking about?
right.
Yeah, because when you said Road Scholar.
Well, yeah, that's the Road Scholar Program that they have to learn about, but it's a road and bridge superintendent
okay.
position you guys are.
So I would think that would already be, just thinking out loud, that person seeking this job probably already has that.
More than likely. But.
But if they don't,
Not
we get to
necessarily.
go
You
through.
gotta have something.
Not necessarily, because we don't know who's gonna apply for it.
Well, that's true, but I mean,
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what,
anybody that's involved with road and bridge on a county, state, or any sort of level, and the projects manager we're looking for probably has that. I'm just throwing it out there. We can do it however you want. We can put 3 years in, I'm fine with it, but
I would much rather have 3 years there, that way you've got your rear, backside covered.
makes
Just-
sense, makes sense.
I would
Because then if
agree.
at the end of 3 years, if they don't have it, say they didn't have it when we hired, which I don't know why you would, then you say, hey, you didn't get this done in 3 years,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
I understand.
You're not gonna do it in 6 months because they don't offer all the programs.
Yeah,
It's gonna take
she
a lot
said
of
there's
years.
different classes offered each year, and depending on if
And a
they're able to
person
make
might
it
have-
or they
You
can't.
may put 3 years plus, 3 to 5, 3 to 5,
Maybe they're partway through it already.
yeah. As long as they're started in it, I don't see no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
I think someone had contacted her who had not completed it, that was interested in applying, and then saying that, and I think that's where she ended up calling me, I don't know, so.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
Another thing, we got a payment last week of, $30,108 from the hospital. So, it said one of 50, promissory note payment, one of 50, so.
Very good.
And another thing, and last thing, so we had our insurance meeting on health insurance, and, I have a book, I don't have one for everybody, but I have a book if you guys wanna look it over, but I have highlights just to give you if you want that too, so, the company, they went ahead and bid out our stop loss insurance because the company we're currently with was going to raise it up quite a bit. So they bid it out, and they found a company, that came in at a pretty decent rate, although there's still an increase, but, sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold or something. They ended up saving us $125,000, to keep from having a laser, which what that means is if there's an individual that's a higher, we're paying a lot on, they could laser them out, and we would have to pay like $250,000 on a person. And so the other companies they bid wanted a laser, and this particular company said, no, we won't do that. So they actually saved us $125,000 on that. So our stop loss premium went up $75,000, but they were able to negotiate better rates and better pricing with our prescriptions. So we are gonna see a 3-year savings of $500,000. So it's about $178,241 per year. So that definitely offsets that increase, and we're still in the black on that, so we're not going in the red yet. So after discussing with the consultants, they suggested leaving everything the same for this year, and then seeing what it looks like next year, and then they might recommend some changes or something. But because of the way things were looking, they thought they were able to keep things good for the county and all that.
Did they give you how many insured hit stop loss?
Yes, they did.
What kind of number is that?
We had,
I mean, I would say over stop loss, if you have the total of over stop loss. The
Yeah.
amount that the insurance company pays out.
okay, let's see, I'm just gonna look at this for a second. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. 4. Looks like 4. Thank you. 4 of them. That's what it looks like.
Total.
Mhm. And
How many has it normally been? Less than that, more than that, or, and I know that can bounce all over.
we've had more. We've had 10 or 12 before, and so the fact that that we have 4, but we've got a couple that have been kind of big. So
That was over the stop loss.
yeah. Sorry.
The employees can select step 1, step 2, or step 3, and that may not be the right wording. Did we leave that at 1,800, or has there just been a decision made on that?
You mean as far as the
Deductible.
deductible? No, all that staying the same.
Stay the same. I know we've been moving that up gradually a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, and we, like I said, with what they were able to say, offset to keep the savings there, they recommended keeping everything the same this year, and if we need to look at it next year, if we see things change to where it's gonna look like the county is gonna be in the red and not in the black, then we'll make changes, and that's kind of the short of it all. But like I said, if you guys wanna look at one of these, you certainly can. I've got a few of them. I don't have enough for each of you, but you're welcome to, So, do you have any questions on that, or?
Do you know what the grand total was that was over the stop loss? That the insurance company had to fork out?
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out how they're justifying spending, or I'm just trying to figure out how they're justifying another, adding the $75,000 to your stop loss, is what I'm trying to, it had to have been $500,000
Yeah.
paid out by the insurance company over your already existing what is it?
125.
$125,000?
Yeah.
So now you're looking at
Let's see.
sounds like a lot to me.
But if you had 3 go over, you'd be breaking even then.
Yeah, that's why I wanna know what.
130,000 over specific. That's just for July to April of this year.
That's total.
From July 21 to April, for current, it's not even a full year yet. We're already 130,000 over. Last year we were over, wait a minute. Yeah, previous year we were over 800,000.
800,000 over, okay. There was an increase last year as well, I'm sure. They're probably doing 2 small increases would be my guess.
And then 462 the year before. They gave us 4 years worth to show.
So that deal, the way things are going, it could change in a heartbeat.
So like I said, with the negotiating on the pharmacy and saving us that $178,241 per year, which would be $500,000 after 3 years, total, that's, so.
About the disability.
Oh, yeah, thank you, I was gonna mention that. They are still working on getting the information, and they just wanna make sure that they get the admin fee reporting stuff set up correctly and the med review company before they come to us, and it would mirror like what we're doing with our health insurance. And I explained that we also had a local agent here offer to provide what they have, but I don't think they have the ability for us to do it self-insurance like what we're doing with our medical.
They wanted to give us a policy.
Yeah, they wanted to do a policy, and so, and I explained that you guys are wanting to do that, and so.
Well, I mean, we could do whichever I was just suggesting self-funding. If we wanna do a policy, I guess we probably need to look at that.
See what this comes up with.
Yeah.
Compare both of them.
Yeah, I just figure it's better to do a self-fund deal than paying $200,000 a year policy. It blows my mind.
So, and that is it. So thanks for reminding me that, because I did mean to mention that.
Tim, you're
I think all of mine's been
talked about. Tom?
For me, just like I say, just anybody got ideas, maybe on that parking lot out there, and then we never did get anywhere on finishing up from the waterproofing landscaping type thing. Do we wanna send that out for bids?
I forgot about it.
I know, I drive by it, and it's like,
Well, and that was kind of like the only thing I had to go bring it to that, just again, Barb had talked to Schellers and Strauters and Daughters. Doesn't sound like Strauters and Daughters has time, they're pretty busy, but they're gonna take a look and see with some different options too. And Schellers, since they're already landscaping company, was gonna take a look and see what they thought.
To around the outside of our building.
So that's.
well, the way we're headed with our bidding process, we probably need to come up with some sort of scope of work we're wanting to see, and all the weights legit requirements, so.
Cause I'm sure it's gonna be over $10,000. It might not be.
Well, that's what, like, since our landscaping company comes in, they were gonna take a look and see
Oh,
what they
it's
thought
just
some
getting
options
high.
even were
Yeah,
before,
there's-
maybe we could put those options together as a, for a bid, or.
Yeah, we've seen a
Wouldn't mind looking at the
50% increase on some of that decorative stuff.
Looking at the options, but not advertising any
Right,
numbers, so to
yeah.
speak.
Better go the route, just, if it does, so they don't have to turn around and do it again.
Do it again. Well, yeah, I mean, we need those, we gotta get the water away from the courthouse.
Yes.
We've gotta get it away from the building.
But they've got it all, you know, that wash rock in there now where all the water's running down to their perimeter drain they put in, and I'm assuming.
When I
health
checked with the health department, they haven't had any leaks, so that's
Yeah.
dangerous,
That's
thank goodness.
And we've had quite a bit of rain.
Yeah, quite a bit of rain, so now just make it look more, a little more curb appeal around there would be nice.
Just decorate it up a little bit, now's all we need.
Just as long as you don't plant.
With all the rockets around the footing.
Well, that was one of their suggestions.
If it's
I was
leaking
like,
now,
like to think-
you have to go back in and redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you plant shrubs around it and the roots are gonna grow down through the rocks, then you're gonna plug
Yeah,
everything
you know
back
what,
up again.
I would just, a rock garden's all you really need, just some decorative rock and some kind of curbing to hold it there so it ain't
Wash
going
it
out into the grass there. That's my original thought.
I agree.
We could kinda treat it the same way as a waterproofing, because the one company wanted to come inside and do all their work, and the other company wanted to go outside, so we chose the outside.
Mhm.
You could do the same way, we could say, present what you've got, and give us a price, and we can pick one, I guess.
Right.
And like say, walk out to your vehicle and look down and see what you think of it.
You look down while you're walking anyway, I do, or I'll stumble anyway.
Well, and
So
there
you
was
wind
that
up in the middle of the
one,
road on your face.
was there on that north side parking lot where everybody pulls in closest to the,
Mhm.
what they fixed last year, that was all on the city side, so they did a quick, that didn't stay.
That cold patch never lasts.
Yeah, so they said that was the city side of it, so they were the ones, if it's that part of the parking lot again, then that's the city part.
There's a heck of a hole on this driveway right here coming in and out.
Yeah.
And that.
Southwest entrance too.
Yeah,
Big,
it's a,
big hole.
it's a doozy.
We could, on that one, we could have probably, ask Wayne or whoever to come out and throw some cold patch in there real quick. on that
Slobber it in.
For now. Those are the only two things I have.
Put lipstick on a pig.
Well, until you know exactly what.
Yeah, but hopefully the pigs move to a different pen.
Move food to that bin.
That was it for me.
Okay, Bob, you got anything today?
Nope.
Don,
Transmission deal too.
transmission deal got
I
it?
wanted some clarification on.
I'm gonna go to you, cause I think mine might take a little while.
And that covered part of mine, the other one was just the phone systems, they're working in the elevators. I know, because you had mentioned Fairmont Vale, so it's not actually like a phone, like a pickup handheld phone, it will be a button that they'll hear like to talk or to
Oh.
listen, so.
Okay, like a keypad?
Yeah, I'm
Keypad
not
or
sure
just
exactly
a
what they mean by
emergency
touch, but
button?
yeah, it won't be a handheld.
Communication of
Right.
some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, without necessarily having to use voice.
Have you figured anything, have you gotten anything on the computer system for the heating or not?
Not yet, that's in the works, so I'm hoping to hear back shortly for that. And when I get that back, do you want me to hold on to it then until, or just kind of put that out in email that comes in throughout the
I
week?
just hold
or
on to it and you just hit it at a meeting.
Okay.
One of the things I have is, I will be gone Wednesday evening, there's a meeting, zoning, planning, there's a hearing
I think that's actually one of the correspondence.
about trailer house or something, over 20 years old. Correct. I'm not gonna be available, so I think it'd be important that at least one commissioner be there if I can't be. I mean, if Bob wants to be there, being the vice, that's fine. I did speak with Tim and Tom because Tom lives here in town. Somebody's gonna have to cover it for me, so.
Didn't you say you could do it?
I can, if nobody else can, yeah, go ahead. That'll be 3 meetings that day, huh?
And it starts at 7:05.
Yeah, cookies.
Yeah.
7
Got
o'clock.
cookies.
Yeah, he'd be here by, what time you go into the hearing?
7:00.
7 case number, so you're hearing a case, that's 7:05. Yeah, because you can't start until 7:05. The hearing. Okay. All right, Tom will be representing me Wednesday. My next one, everybody got their nice little letter from the Coffee County Health Department.
No, Coffee County Hospital.
Oh, Coffee County Hospital, sorry. Health Systems, Coffee County Health Systems. I had a feeling in the back of my mind that this was gonna be coming down the pipeline.
Oh, yeah, they pre-warned us last year.
This is something that's gonna have to be really thought on and talked about. In my eyes, you take a loan, you repay it back. If you can't, you figure out how you can. You do what you have to do to stay good with the loan. 50% was already forgiven. I think that was a gracious thing from the county taxpayers to the Coffee County Health System to forgive half of the loan amount.
There was another million on top of that at the beginning of this whole process.
Oh, was there? So, I don't know. I don't, personally, it infuriates me. We sit here, we're in the red, 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 we're big numbers in the red, and they say they just can't collect. They can't collect, they can't collect. We've got 2 senior homes that is attached to this. They discussed about raising rates. We don't know if they raised any rates.
We gave them an extra meal this year.
Gave them an extra meal,
For this year.
1.8 mils.
I understand, I totally understand the hospital, and the needs of the county for the hospital, but they need to figure out a way to break even. I'm not asking to make millions of dollars, I'm asking that they find a way to break even, or sew up the arteries that are bleeding dollar bills and costing them.
That's a good scenario about the hospital.
Yeah, they have got arteries that are spewing dollars. And I'm sorry, I've been in business for 30 years. If I'd known it was this easy to come to the county to get money, I'd have been here a long time ago. But I'm not going to. And I would hate to come and ask somebody to forgive a loan that was a loan and scheduled as payments. And we did receive a payment along with the letter following it. It'd be awful nice if we'd forgive the rest of the $1.4 million.
The last 4-year summation sheet that they give to us here 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, you know, to me, we got 2 entities that should be supporting themselves. Sunset Manor in the last 4 years has been in the red 1.3 million. And the Meadows is 503,000, so there's 1.8 million. To me, in my opinion, those 2 entities not necessarily need to make much money, but they absolutely got to break even. Or do we take a look at moving them out from underneath of us? But nobody values the hospital and what they do for our community and employment any more than I or the rest of us here, but it's at a point where it's got to have some changes, and they need to happen fairly quickly. You know, we've been county's been putting just a hair over $1 million in it for the last few years, and this year we moved it up to $2 million.
Another one.
And 1.8 million of that went to subsidize these two entities. And the taxpayers, as taxpayers, to me, we shouldn't be putting one nickel into those two entities.
I couldn't agree more.
I think the hospital is important, but somewhere, something's gotta change. The taxpayer just can't keep throwing money into it. Yeah, I know it's very important to the taxpayer, but at the same time,
Well, they might want it more than the jail. I mean, I understand that. You know, I mean, the jail's not the issue here, but I mean, still they're looking at, well, you're gonna throw money away here. Might as well throw money towards the hospital. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just got a problem. I just got a problem with.
well, it was, when they were here, I asked that question, so we gave you the extra meal for this year, so you guys can come in and ask for more money. Well, they're not asking for more money, now they're asking us to
For
forgive.
forgiveness.
Basically the same thing.
Same difference.
Yeah.
You know, at what point in time, we've talked about 4 hospitals around us. Bourbon, Fort Scott and Independence no longer have a hospital, as hospitals, I understand it. We know Allen County and Anderson counties, St. Luke's is, I don't know whether they bought them out or they're supervising them or what, but at what point in time does Coffee County need to take a look at something from the outside? And I know we're kinda hooked into Emporia a little bit. To what extent, I don't know to what extent that is, but
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. No.
I
I
don't
haven't
either.
quite fully followed that.
Yeah.
The marriaging of Coffee County and Emporia. I haven't fully.
Do we need to ask Jobin and his team to come back in, and at what point in time we need to take a look at what Allen County and Anderson County
They'll
did?
be coming in asking for their budget for the 31st.
See, we'll have our budget here pretty quick, mid-June. When's Phil come in, his firm, auditing firm?
I think it's the 23rd. The 23rd
Of this month? Be next Monday?
Mhm.
So we'll have some documents from him.
Says in the letter, I look forward to having a conversation about this, our next meeting, May 31st.
That's probably their next board meeting. When does he?
He'll be in for the budget.
Okay. When, does Phil audits a hospital also, doesn't he? Does he do that about the same time?
I don't know that he does the hospital.
He doesn't do the hospital? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a different company.
Different firm? I couldn't remember who.
Mhm.
It's either form an alliance with Newman Regional Medical Center of Emporia. What's that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what,
I
that's,
I don't know.
also share their contract with Meditech, one of the nation's top EMR systems.
I hope they'll still accept our insurance, because Newman's won't.
That's right, Newman's won't accept the county's insurance.
Share their contract with Meditech and one of the nation's top EMR systems, in addition to this upfront savings. Meditech offers services that we're unable with health plans, meaning we can discontinue unnecessary third-party contracts. That was that big software that they was, so if they're sharing it, did it cost less than what it once was going to cost? I don't know. I just have a problem, you get a loan, you pay for it. That's just my thing.
Well, I was here when we gave half that free.
Mm-hmm.
There was three of us here when we forget the first half.
I guess I'm not gonna do a knee-jerk reaction on this, and I'd like to do some conversing with some people and ponder it myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just brought it up.
I fully understand what you're saying.
I mean, I go to this hospital all the time, you know, if I need, I tried to stay the heck out of it, so.
Yeah, I'm glad it's here, we need it, it's great.
It's needed.
I have my family doctors here, as a matter of fact, I got a little checkup tomorrow there, so
So, I mean,
I'm glad it's here.
there's a need for the hospital, no, I'm not saying there's not, and I'm not saying I wanna see it leave or shut down, but it's got bleeding arteries and they need to be sewed up.
You know, the last 4 years on the home health care, they discontinued that service 2, 3, 4 months ago, and that over the 4-year period, that was in the red by $483,000. And yet we got those two entities, one of them 3 times that, the other one equals that they have done nothing about. They've got to come forward and show just cause of continuation.
But don't they have a contract with Hometown Health now, though, to replace?
They've got some contracts, Bob.
Yeah.
But I don't know all the details. Yeah. But to me, those are, once again, come back to, they are separate entities, and how you handle them and dispose of them, if that's a choice we go or a direction we go, I don't know what the procedures are.
Is wages public information at that hospital?
I do not know. Wages?
Yeah.
Wages should be. Shouldn't be.
I've been wanting to ask that
I
question.
think wages should be. I don't think.
So if we ask
About wages.
for employee wages from the Coffee County Health System, can they supply that?
They may not give you names, but
I don't care about
they
names.
give you positions.
I wanna know positions and wages.
If you have the top positions and then all the department heads, probably 20 or 25 of them, I'd have some interest in that.
I would really like to entertain.
You know, there's not very many county community hospitals left.
Yeah.
Is this a thing that's changing?
Yeah.
Do we need to be changing with it maybe?
Well, and that's what Don was saying, you know, look at what these other counties have done.
Don, did Bourbon County open back up?
I think they won't back up, but as a hospital, I'm not gonna answer that, because I can't.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I had heard they
I think it's
had.
opened up more of a healthcare
Not
than
as a hospital. They haven't as a hospital.
Not as a hospital.
yeah, not as a hospital, I'm sure of that. And that's what Independence has done the same thing, I think. Because they were getting to the point where they were putting, I was told directly, when I made a telephone call 2 years ago, they put $6 million in it that 1 year. And they said that was enough. And on Allen County, I've got a real close friend that's on the board of Allen County. I could do some discovering to see how they initiated it, contact with St. Luke's, but.
I'm not sure how that works, but I'm thinking that the commissioner told me that St. Luke's and Anderson County gives Anderson County $1 million a year to be able to have the hospital there. I'm not sure.
So instead of taking $1 million out of the budget, it adds.
I'm not sure how that works yet. Plus, you have the local people working there.
Got the local people working there.
I'm not sure how that works.
You don't think St. Luke's took the ownership of it
Well, I'm sure they have it, but they pay to have that ownership.
See, I think I don't know exactly at Allen County and Anderson.
Allen County's under St. Luke's too.
Same thing. My son-in-law's IT operator at Allen County, so.
If that's not gonna be the thing in the future, I mean, these little county hospitals are just getting to where, I mean, guaranteed St. Luke's running like business.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how they can and we can't. I haven't been able to get that answer. How can they make it profitable? Why do they wanna do it and we can't do it ourselves? Is it because it's too hard? Cause it's easier to come and ask for the money than to change something? Or
Can't get it from my head.
you can't get the needle through the thread through the needle to sew up the bleeding artery? I don't know. I mean, I'm no business person, by no means, but there's an issue somewhere. I don't know where it's at.
To me, if the two is losing money, or like they don't wanna, they may have to raise the cost per day.
When you go buy a pair
On
of
the two
boots,
entities, they absolutely have.
Yeah.
That should have been done 4 or 5 years ago.
when you go buy a pair of boots at the shoe store, do you get to say, I don't wanna pay $150, I'm only gonna pay $100?
No.
No. You pay the price.
You pay the price.
And I do understand that some of these hospitals do take 20-30% off if you pay up front instead of having to go through the insurance. I understand that. They should be factoring all that into it. Problem is not the people that pay, it's the people that don't pay.
Yeah.
It makes it harder on the people that pay.
Or the ones that just can't claim
I
for it.
I forget the number of dollars that they said was written off a year ago. That was a huge figure.
Yeah, it was astronomical.
I don't know what the answer is, but we're gonna have to
either.
discover something.
Yes. Bobby, you got anything else? No? I did see that we started on the, filling station, or the U-Do, or whatever the heck it's called. And I did ask, make sure we had the general, whatever that is, general insurance and the performance bond and the payment bond.
Yes, sir.
And the work comp, everything's in the clerk's
Are we
hands.
providing the fill back for that project? I know
Fill back?
The fill for the dirt back?
No, sir.
No, but this one, we're anticipating on providing the dirt, correct?
Yeah, just on this,
Sure.
just because it's gonna be a basement there, I feel in yet. But the one stop or whatever, you just got, it's a slab on grade,
Right.
so. There'll be a hole to fill in, but it won't be minimal, should be.
Oh.
Came back, kinda scary. Came back, kinda scary.
Yeah, I think we've asked this question before, Angie. On these Kipling letters, they are very, very, very expensive. Does anybody ever read these, get any value out of them at all?
Well, we've gotten them for you guys to see, and then we keep them in the,
And I don't know what they currently cost, I don't, it don't take long to get money tied up in Kipling letters.
yeah, I mean, if you guys
I
are
just question-
interested, I can.
I just question how much
not-
value they really bring to the table.
I read them sometimes.
You take a look at
I
them
mean,
all.
oh, yeah, sometimes I do. I highlight them if there's something that I think looks good.
There's some good information out there.
We don't need any funds left, we don't need any.
Did the sheriff bring up
I'll let you get there.
It was a credit. Yes, it was special issue that was supposed to have been here last week. They called me and wanted to use the stamp to approve payment of the credit card. And I said, you make sure that you have the.
Probably that big.
Is that
yeah,
here?
that's
Okay.
it.
I can't remember what the amount was. Something like 13,000 maybe? Yeah, there's nothing in the checks anyway. Card services is $30.50.
Well, we probably would have mailed the check out already if it was special issue. It should be the voucher though, like that one clipped together underneath
The
Dawn.
big, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Excuse me.
So Dawn, for a year, it's $124.
It's only that much? I figured it'd be a lot more than that. There's two separate
They were gonna go to
coming.
that. I think you didn't know well in advance that they were gonna go to that, you just had to send that in.
I'll bet there's,
I didn't use the excuse.
I bet there's two payments. That's not a month, that is an annual
Shut
bill.
it down.
Huh?
It's annual.
I wonder if somebody
We
would
quit
try
paying
that.
for one in 2018, so we quit getting the finance.
Just didn't see it, be a mistake deal.
And-
Did it, you wouldn't have did it well.
Tax letter,
I'm with you.
the tax letter's $99.
That's,
So-
that's what last I thought.
There's a check.
Whenever you're done, like,
I can't sign your time sheet.
oh, want me to sign it?
No, you can't do it. No check for you this month.
Look at the time, look at it.
We gotta save money.
Donated time. Sorry about it. Now you're gonna make me look back on all my text messages to make sure
I know, that's
you
actually
marked
what I
off
have
the
to do,
date.
yep. That is the one thing my text I work, but I
It
can
is.
go back through and go like, okay.
Yeah, because somebody calls me and says
I
something,
don't know.
I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
you know.
I've seen that on the other.
And then I
I'd
really
like
don't
that come across.
have to have it somewhere, just look at what I text, you know.
Just as long as you make sure you text me.
Yeah.
If not, then
Flowers,
both of
well,
them.
floral arrangement,
Who from who did?
Grace Kruger.
Oh, Grace. Yeah, I heard she was going. They don't need to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to figure the address out.
Yeah, we need to sign these too, don't we?
Oh, contacts on there.
Yep. Wait needs to sign those rascals. Stock market
First, or do you-
I usually give them to Wade and then I get them after.
Stock market crashing today.
Look, we would discuss that. It's a good time not to have a 401K.
Now's the time you can put
Start
in.
one. Is it coming back?
Well, hopefully one of these days.
Otherwise, I know I'll forget that.
Mm.
And then there's
The what?
the ones that just carry over from the
Oh.
previous month. file next to them. Yeah, the one I was going to say,
Oh, gotcha.
I was so bummed, I was like, I'm off, I'm gonna do this, I'm like, no, I couldn't even do that, and I was off.
Sign all these in the back.
Oh, I didn't know there were any in there. No, I guess
It
I'm
kind of
not.
worked out, 'cause I wouldn't have been able to come to this.
I didn't know there,
Yeah.
I went through them like this.
There's a lot of them on there that had to be more signatures just for one.
Yeah.
That's probably what was, that, I bet that's what was okay.
But just that one.
Just this one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all the sheriff's, that's the sheriff's for the month, 12,000. It runs between
Oh,
8
just
and 12
that
a
one.
month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, on this piece of paper you gave us about the, I'm not finding anything. I'm finding, what did I find? Merlin Carpenter Trucking. I'm not finding Carpenter Trucking.
That was, I think it, I don't know the exact of the.
This is Charles Carpenter.
This is the brother to Merlin.
Charlie, my brother.
Merlin passed away here
Okay.
a couple years ago.
But I'm not finding anything.
Say it's not incorporated.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything on the World Wide Web.
On this.
Uh-huh.
And he's an individual truck.
Right, he still has to have credentials.
Yeah.
Is it a farmer
Yeah.
trucker thing?
Well, he owns 160 acres there, south, east, west there. And, yeah, he's got a little farm ground.
I guess maybe you called the Carpenter Trucking, could we see if that's listed as a business?
So you know him, Mr. Dunn?
North of Allisville.
North of Allisville, west of West Bay, and north of Allisville, 2 miles on the west side. A mile and a half north of Allisville on the west side.
It would be good to actually look, follow up.
He's got that 160 there.
Hold on.
Right south Terry Kimmel's 160.
Charles Carpenter, 1028.
He spent a lot of time down,
Yeah,
he was
that's
down
it,
at another hospital down south.
I'm not sure him
I
and
found
Merlin were in it
Do you
together.
on there?
I'm sorry?
I think him and Merlin were in it together, weren't
I don't, when I was at the co-op, they were not a partnership.
they? They weren't.
No, not at all. It sort of all me and Merlin
But did,
occasionally.
so did he take over after Merlin passed?
I can't get it, I don't know. No. They were both trucking at that time.
One of them was hauling fuel too.
That's Shorty.
Shorty hauling fuel.
He had a fuel, he had a tanker. Merlin never did have a tank truck. Merlin's mostly all livestock too.
Yeah.
With some grain.
I left it apart in case you wanted to, pick on it, budget.
So you said it would be eligible?
It would.
It would.
Yes,
Is there any difference between that and short-term disability?
not really. I think, short-term disability probably would have helped a lot in this situation, if that person had that. It may play into what you're saying too, that if this company individual was not fully incorporated properly.
Well, it's just a one person operation and
Right.
they're kinda hung out to dry.
Yep.
So to speak.
Yep.
Wouldn't be any different if they had a heart attack. I hope that never happens, but it'd be no different if they had a heart attack.
Correct.
Or caught pneumonia.
but keep in mind, it's just a request. And I felt compelled to share it with the commission. And the best I saw, there's no specific amount in the request, it's just, can you help using some of those funds?
I think we need to be very, cautious.
I think if you do something like that, I don't know where you're gonna stop.
Well, that DOT number did not come up. Sorry, no results found. I don't find it. Or
We gave money to bars that weren't even open at the time.
We gave a lot of money out for, preparation that never even, you know, like washing stations and sanitizing the stations and so on and so forth, that was never even used. I mean, it was used, but it wasn't used for the correct purpose, and there was a lot of that went on.
And I don't know what the answer is here, but I, you know,
I mean, I don't know. I guess I look at it as there's really no difference than having a heart attack. Can't drive for 6 months. That's the way I look at it. In a sense. I just wanna make sure it's legitimate. I understand the individual's legitimate, and I understand the situation that they're in is legitimate. I wanna make sure they're legal to be doing what they say they're doing.
Yeah.
Or have been done.
Thank you.
yeah, we're waiting on you, Tim. Don't
Nope,
worry about
didn't
it.
get 'em all.
Don't worry about it, Tim.
Nope, goes in the.
I'll take that.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
We got anything else? Going once?
Got a headache.
I forgot the time already.
Oh.
6:30.
They're all 6:30, Tom.
Let's, yeah, what were those dates on that? So the 25th ad hoc, yep, ad hoc.
Start right here on the second.
Second is,
Then you're gonna skip the 23rd, if I remember right.
the second is where?
Gridley,
Finley?
9th. At Leroy.
6 o'clock.
They're all at
6:30.
6:30.
All 6:30 to 9 is the projected time.
The 9th is
Yeah,
Leroy.
I need to print mine off, I thought I read
At the
it
library.
now, because I just wanna make sure Burlington one of these.
June 16th is at Waverly Library.
Leroy.
June 30th is
Skip
Lebo
23rd.
Library.
And this is Lebo 30th?
30th.
Yeah, Lebo's 30th.
July 7th, Burlington Library. July 14th, New Strong Fire Station, so.
Okay, that might be.
No rhyme, no reason.
And the other Thursdays, we use the fire station for actual meetings on the first and third Thursdays, so be looking at Thursdays.
I want it
Okay, no.
3:30 and 4, yeah, then I can go to the city council at 6, and then,
Alright, so Tom's taking care of my Wednesday meeting. So, I guess we'll adjourn if everybody is good at
If you look.
12:18.
I was on speaking.
Yes, sir.
That's the only reason.
Yes.